Yes, I fell down the rabbit hole because Claude Cowork is the real deal. And the best part is you don't need to be a programmer or understand what an MCP is to use Claude Cowork. I'm going to show you 7 actually useful tasks Claude Cowork can do on your Mac right now. From renaming hundreds of files based on the file's content, even videos. Use your Apple Notes or your Notion workspace as a complete knowledge database. Easily connect it to other services like Bitly and ask Claude to just do stuff for you. And if you don't want to give Claude access to apps and files on your computer, you can just have it use the Google Chrome web browser and then find and take action like it's a fully agentic browser. And to be honest, I did go all the way to installing OpenClaw on this machine, but for the privacy and security concerns, plus the complexity of actually setting up, I wouldn't recommend OpenClaw for most people, but Claude Cowork, you should try today, and I'm going to show you on your Mac how you can make sure it's only accessing the files and folders that you want it to, and if you get concerned, how to revoke access to those files and folders. I hope you like the I'm not a robot hat. I'm going to take it off now. Step 1, you're going to need to download the Claude app onto your Mac and sign up for at least a pro account. That's $20 a month. But you can quickly get to that download by going to claude.com/download. I'll put that link down in the video description as well. Once the Claude app is installed and you're logged in, let's go over to the Cowork tab. The chat tab is kind of like what you would do with other LLMs. You can ask it general queries, and I'll show you how I've been using it to build some shortcuts in a few minutes, but I'm going to go over to the Cowork tab here in the middle. Now I've connected this to several services like Notion and Slack, and I'll walk you through that. But let's start with an easy task that's useful for pretty much everyone. Renaming files. Let's say I have a bunch of files on my desktop and I want Claude to rename them. Well, I can click Work in a Folder right here in the chat window and then choose a different folder. It has recent folders there as well. I'll go to the desktop and then click Open. Now I'll put a Finder window here over on the left and I have one file that's unnamed right now. It's just a random screenshot. And I can ask Claude Cowork right here, rename the files on my desktop based on the file contents. I'll click Let's Go. It will ask for access to that folder in a pop-up window, and I'll show you how you can revoke that access later, but it's going to look at the files and actually look at the content, including videos, which I'll show you in a moment. You'll see here in the right-hand sidebar the progress of the task. If it's planning steps for complex tasks, you'll see that in the right-hand sidebar as well. And Claude is super smart. Because I have a folder on my desktop as well as just a single screenshot, it's actually asking me, do I want to rename just the screenshots or all the files in the working folder? I'm going to click just the desktop screenshot. I'll click Images, send that command. Now it's going to look at that screenshot and rename it. Now the great thing about Claude Cowork is while it's working on renaming that one file, we can actually start a new task and give it something else to do. This time, instead of the desktop folder, I'm going to choose a different folder because here in my downloads, I have a test folder with a bunch of video files. These are screen recordings and they're all just named clean shot with today's date and time. So I'm going to open that folder and ask Claude, rename these video files based on the content. And I'll have it start on that task as well. Now, if you have notifications enabled, Claude will let you know when it's done with the task or if it needs your input. But if I go back to that first task, you'll see it correctly identified that this was the Primary Technology website. That's my tech podcast, by the way. You can listen and watch above or links below. And here's the screenshot in my Finder, and it renamed that file Primary Technology Podcast Website Homepage. Now, when you ask Claude Cowork to do things, it may say it needs Node.js. I know it sounds complicated, and I don't usually like working in the terminal, but this is like a 2 to 3 command instruction. So all you need to do is open the terminal. I'm going to go to Spotlight here, or just click the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner, search for terminal, and you can install Node.js with these 2 commands. Just copy this first string of text into terminal, click enter, it'll do some stuff, then copy and paste this, again into the terminal window, click enter. And then if you want to check if Node was actually installed, you can just copy and paste this text string, click enter, and if you see a version number right here, it means Node is successfully installed. And guess what? I had no idea how to do that, so I just asked Claude. And that's one of the powerful things about the Claude Mac app. If you run into something you just don't understand or how to do it, just ask Claude. It's right there. And if we return back to this renaming task, you see there were 6 video files. It looked at frames in the video and then renamed each video file based on the content. You can see it's asking for confirmation and wants to know if that is actually what I want to rename these files. You can see the progress of this task here in the upper right-hand corner, and I can watch those files being renamed in real time, and here we are. Let's check this first video file, which is the Bring Knox Shades. And yeah, it looked at a screen grab of this video, which is the Bring Knox website, and now that's renamed. So if you work with a bunch of video files like B-roll and you want it to be named what's in the video, it will look at the frames of those video files and rename it based on the content. Wild. Now Claude Cowork gets even more powerful when you add connectors. So if I go here to the Claude settings, under the general area, you'll see connectors. And here you can connect this to various services. You'll see I've connected it to Bitly, Notion, Slack, and I'll show you examples of all those in a moment. And you can even connect it to things like Chrome, the third-party app Drafts, your Apple Notes, and you can even add custom connectors. Now, I didn't do any custom connectors. All I did was go to the Browse Connectors section here, and I searched for the apps that I wanted to use. So you can search for Slack, you can search for Notion, and you're not having to install some kind of MCP server or do more terminal commands. This is all just right here in the Claude app. Now, you can always disconnect that access for privacy and security, and some of the connectors give you granular control of what Claude Cowork can do. So if I configure the Notion connector, I can say for read only, meaning I want it to look at my Notion database. If I want to search for something, it can read all my Notion pages. I'm going to always allow the read-only tools, but for writing and deleting, I want it to need approval every time. So it can't create a comment, a database, or even create pages without me approving it every time. You can also choose to restrict all of it and block any actual action like writing and deleting pages in Notion. I really like this granular control over these connectors. That's why I've really been preferring Claude Cowork in accessing some of my applications, giving it read access but not write access. And by the way, that folder on my desktop that had over 100 files, I actually gave that to Claude Cowork to rename as well. And you can see here it renamed all the non-screenshot and screenshot files. And this folder that had just a bunch of random named files and screenshot names, it actually went through and it did a really good job of naming all these files. Next, I'm going to show you how to use Cowork to find information through your email, your Apple Notes database, Notion, and more. But before I do, it's time to automate your money and take care of it all in one place using today's sponsor, Monarch. I've been using Monarch for the past several months. I keep the widget right here in my Today view, and I love being able to see my most recent transactions across all my accounts, all right here in Monarch. Best of all, Monarch is private and ad-free. You're the customer, not the product. So there's no ads and no data selling, and it syncs with over 13,000 institutions. It's fast, secure setup with all major banks, credit cards, and brokerages. I was able to set it up with all my bank accounts and cards, so now I can monitor everything in one place. There's one clean dashboard where you can see those accounts, net worth, debt payoff programs, and recurring bills. And what's been useful for me is I get notifications when there's a refund from Amazon. So if I have a return going back, I can see when that refund hits my account in Monarch. You also have flexible budgeting, where you can have separate fixed versus flexible spending, AI-powered insights, where Monarch uses your real financial data to surface helpful insights and explanations about your money, and it's couples ready, so you can share this information with a partner or spouse, and you can both keep an eye on your finances because Monarch is cross-platform, has a beautiful, intuitive experience on both the web and mobile, and their iPhone app is great. So here's what you do. Scan this QR code or use my promo code ROBLES50 and you can get 50% off your first full year of Monarch. Again, I've been using it personally for several months and it has been a game changer. That's 50% off your first year of using Monarch just by scanning this QR code or using the promo ROBLES50. My thanks to Monarch for sponsoring this video. Next is Gmail. Now, if you use other mail providers, there are custom MCPs you can download. I use Fastmail, and there are MCPs that other users have generated, but I didn't feel comfortable installing those just yet. But I did connect my Gmail account, and now that it's connected, I can ask it things like, did I get any important emails from YouTube in the last month? Now, if you give it read access to your email, you can ask it for a morning report. Did I get any important emails last night? Or have it find specific emails for you. And now in just a few seconds, I have a report of all the emails that I received from YouTube. One was about accessing the Mac Power Users YouTube channel, which is the other podcast I'm on. You can subscribe above, link below. And you can see some other shopping and promotional offers. But you can ask it just for a daily report on the important emails across everything. But that was just about YouTube. You can ask it specific questions about recipients, reports, even summarizing those emails all in like a morning briefing right here in Claude Cowork. And if you're not comfortable connecting your email directly to Claude, you can have it just use a browser like Google Chrome and just give it access when it's in the browser. I'll show you that in a minute. But going back to the settings and into connectors, you can also connect your Apple Notes. And again, you can configure this so it's read only. I made it ask if it's going to add a note or update any kind of note content. Same thing for Notion and Slack. So let's see what it can do. I can ask it questions and it will reference my entire notes database or something specific. Like what were the latest 5 shortcuts I added to the newest Apple Note? It's going to go look at my Apple Notes for me. And you can see it found the shortcuts and even gave me the links that I put in the note. Now, it thought the latest content was at the bottom of the note, and the way I structure my Apple Note for Shortcuts database, it's at the top. But one of the powerful things about Cowork is I can give it specific instructions for future requests. So here are the instructions, which is a markdown file. Every time I ask about Apple Notes, the latest or newest information is at the top of the note, not the bottom. Now those instructions are saved into Claude, and if I ask it the same thing, you can see in its response it now understands that the newest content is at the top, and these are in fact the latest 5 shortcuts that I added to the note. If you've used custom GPTs or Gemini gems, this is like that, but even more powerful, these are instructions for how Claude Cowork is going to work with the data on your machine. So you can really customize it so every future request, it has full context, it's not going to misunderstand you, it knows where you put the newest or latest data. Really powerful. Now, as an aside, I really wanted to point it to all of my Bear notes, which is where I've taken notes for years and use that as my personal knowledge base, but Bear keeps it in a proprietary database format, and Claude Cowork can't really read and then write back to that database. This is why people use Obsidian, because Obsidian as a note app saves all your notes just as plain text files or markdown files on your Mac, and then Claude can take action on all those individual files. Am I going to switch to Obsidian? I'm not sure, but I did export all my Bear notes as plain text files, and now I can search those in Claude too. But let's start a new task and look at accessing our Notion workspaces. I'll ask it, in what episode of Primary Technology did we discuss the M4 Mac Studio? You can see it's searching Notion right now. And here we go. It says it looks like episode 65, and it even has a link. And when I click it, it's actually going to open that page in my Notion app. Here's episode 65, and sure enough, there's the M4 Mac Studio. Now, while you could have just searched your Notion database for that, once you connect these multiple data points like Apple Notes, Notion, and Slack, now it has access to all of that information, and Claude can be the one place you ask it to find data. One other finding data example, and then we'll actually go into Claude making stuff for us. This time I'll ask it something about Slack. Now, I know this information is in Slack, but I'm not going to specify that, and let's see what Claude Cowork does. And this is where you can see the power really come in. It actually looked at Apple Notes first. You can see here in the context window on the right, didn't find what it was looking for there, so it went on to Slack. And if it doesn't find it in Slack, it could go on to Notion and the other pieces of data I've connected to Claude. But sure enough, it actually pulled the chapter markers for the next episode of Mac Power Users. These are absolutely accurate, and there's even a link to that message in Slack that I can click and be sent over there. You can also give it access to send Slack messages, summarize Slack messages, really powerful. Now, something else I connected to Claude Cowork that I use all the time is Bitly. I pay for a Bitly account because every time I share a shortcut URL, I shorten it with Bitly. This way, if I have to make a change to the shortcut, I can change the backend iCloud link, but the Bitly URL is still good. So here I've configured Bitly, and this time, not only did I give it read-only tools, but I want it to be able to write and create links as well. And I love that I have the granular control to tell it needs approval for bulk upload files or creating QR codes, but I want it to be able to create short links without me approving it at all. And so you see I've clicked Always Allow. So let's do a new task with Bitly. Now again, I'm not going to tell Claude Cowork to actually use Bitly. Let's just see if it's smart enough to figure it out. I'm going to give it the raw iCloud URLs for the shortcuts, plus the title of the shortcut, and I want it to give me a list back with the short URLs it makes from Bitly. I'll click Let's Go. Now I built a shortcut using the Bitly API, but it was pretty complex, time-consuming, and honestly, this is way faster and I think a little better. I can do them in bulk, super fast, and now I have the Bitly links right here. And it gave it to me in that format with the title of the shortcut and the link right next to it. And if I look at my actual Bitly account, there are the new Bitly links that were just created, and I'm ready to go. And because I have a ton of shortcuts that I've shared in Bitly, I can ask it to find me something from my Bitly account. I'll ask it to find me a link to the food tracker shortcut in Bitly. And I do have quite a few, some that I've renamed with version numbers and others. I know I need to create like an Airtable or something with all of these version numbers. Maybe Claude can help me. But it pulled all those links in a nice format right here. But now let's go to an even further agentic type workflow. So you can connect Claude Cowork to a browser. Only one browser right now, which is unfortunate, Google Chrome. But here in Google Chrome, you can install the Claude extension, and then not only can you ask it here in the sidebar chat window to do something, you can start in Claude Cowork and then ask it to do something in the browser. Now, one of the things I run into a lot is someone sent me a message on one of the social media platforms and a mention or a DM, and now I can't find that message, I didn't save it, but I want to reply to it. But now I can ask Claude Cowork to actually look across my mentions using the Google Chrome browser and find that response. I wanted to use Chrome, look through all my mentions across 4 different social networks, Threads, X, Mastodon, and Blue Sky, and find a post where someone shared an image of them listening to Primary Technology, my tech podcast, in CarPlay. And now you can see I'm not doing anything. I'll move my mouse over the browser window, but Claude Cowork is going to be opening new tabs, going to the different social networks. I do have to log in manually, but if you're already logged in, it can just take the action. And now you can see for browser control, I do have it ask for permission whenever it's going to take action, but I'm going to say allow for this website, and I could select just allow for everything, and then I don't have to have any kind of approval. I'll just say allow all browser actions in this task, and then it'll just go off in the background and do everything. Now this task is probably going to take a while, but again, you can leave this going in the background and start another one. So let's do one that I've done with a lot of agentic browsers. You can check out my video about ChatGPT Atlas versus Comet right here. And Comet is coming as an app to the iPhone on March 11th, and I might have a review of that early, so get subscribed, that's coming soon. But let's say I'm shopping for something, maybe a piece of furniture on Overstock. But if there's one thing that all the agentic browsers and AI can do is find you promo codes, so you never have to pay full price. So I have this here on the checkout page with the discount code field open. So I'm gonna go back to Claude Cowork. I'm gonna tell it to find a promo code for Overstock, and I'm gonna tell it to keep trying until one is accepted. So I'm going to start this second task going. Now from the actual Claude Mac app, it said it couldn't take action on the tab. So instead I went to Google Chrome, I opened the Claude extension right here, gave it the same instruction, and now you can kind of see the orange glow around the website. Now Claude Cowork is actually working on this exact tab with the discount codes, and it's going to try and find something. I'm going to say always allow actions on this site. This way I can stop approving every time it wants to do something. And now it's searching for that promo code. Let's go back to that other task that we asked about, looking for that social media post. And right here, Claude said they've found it. The person is Stephen Gear on Threads, and they posted that photo. And I can see here in my Chrome window, it actually has that tab open to the exact post. It did in fact find it. Now, while it's looking for that promo code, if you ever wanted to revoke access to a folder that maybe you had Claude working on, but now you don't want it to see anymore, you can change that in your Mac system settings. So if I go up to the Apple icon and system settings, here I'll go down to privacy and security, and then go to files and folders. Here you'll see Claude, the Mac app. Just expand this, and here you'll see all the folders that you have given it access to, like your desktop, documents, and downloads. And if you don't want it to have access to your desktop folder anymore, just toggle that off. Your Mac will have you authenticate. It will need to quit and then reopen Claude. I'm gonna do this later because Claude is working. But here you can revoke access to those folders. If you have it do a task, but then you don't want it to have access anymore, you have the freedom to do that. And one last thing while it's working on that promo code. If I go back to my Claude settings and then go down to connectors, there are some connectors here that I didn't feel comfortable with doing just yet, but if you want to experiment, you can go to Browse Connectors, and Claude has a ton here, including some that work with iMessages. So you can add your messages as a connector, and then Claude Cowork can access and search all of those. I didn't install that one just yet, or the Control Your Mac connector, which can actually run AppleScript in the background. Now, I've been using Claude a ton to actually help me write AppleScript and then put that in shortcuts or build other automations, but I didn't want this connector in Claude Cowork just yet. So your tolerance for how much access it has to your computer may vary, but you can connect it to Airtable, AWS, and a ton of other services here. Plus it connects to things like make.com, which extends it even further, and it can connect it to things like shortcuts. And speaking of shortcuts, if you love shortcuts and automation like I do, I would love if you join my shortcuts community at shortcut.bot. You could scan this QR code. But we've almost hit 4,000 members, which is amazing. So join for free. I'm in there helping people build their shortcuts. You can go to the Ask for Shortcuts help, or go to the community shortcuts where people have built shortcuts and they just want to share them. All of that is free. But then you can also join the community as a member and support this channel and me as a creator. And then you get access to my weekly shortcuts live streams where I share new shortcuts every week and build them live. Plus you can watch all the stream replays with links to download all the shortcuts that I talked about. Plus you can search my shortcuts database, get my shortcut of the week, which I'll just give you a little preview. These are the shortcuts I'm working on for my next roundup on YouTube. But Claude helped me build this shortcut for the Fortnite item shop, which Fortnite has just a free and open API you can use. I built it for my son, but you might enjoy it too. That when you run it, it just gets all the current items in the Fortnite item shop and will quickly open it in this little window here, and you can see all the items with an image, the titles, and how many V-Bucks each one costs. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm gonna share that as my shortcut of the week, which you can access when you go to shortcut.bot or scan this QR code, join for free, and then become a paying member and get access to all those member benefits. And it finally found a discount code that Overstock accepted. You could see it there. And so like Comet and ChatGPT Atlas, Claude Cowork can do that kind of agentic work for you. But get subscribed. I'm going to be talking about Comet on iPhone when that comes out in a few weeks, and all the AI tools and how it works with your Mac and other Apple devices. I'm falling down the rabbit hole. So get subscribed, hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave comments below this video. I'll leave my last video where I compared ChatGPT Atlas and Perplexity Comet AI browsers right up here. And if you're a Mac user and you want to learn all the keyboard shortcuts that can help you get around even faster, even triggering things like Claude with a keyboard shortcut, check out my video on that right up here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.